Welcome to the show, everybody. We're talking a little stock market investing for the beginner. Now, that's exciting because I do enjoy actually reaching out to the people who just want to know how to generally invest. And honestly, investing is simple. That's the first rule you need to know. Investing is simple. So think about it this way. If you set, $50 a week into a broad market fund, and never stock picked, you wouldn't even need to pick a single stock. You'd likely be miles ahead of everybody else. I'll show you how beginners actually start, like accounts, ETFs, orders. Simple and doable. Investing should not be difficult because at the end of the day, it really isn't. And truth be told, human beings make it difficult or easy. It's honestly your choice, though. It is easier to invest than ever before. In today's age, you shouldn't just simply be saying, like, I would invest, but I don't know how, or I don't have a lot of money to invest. You don't even need a lot of money to invest. If you have $20, $50, some spare excess money sitting around, that's good enough. Like, you don't need a ton. And I think that it's the most frustrating thing are the excuses. If you can spend $100 at the casino, you can put $100 in your brokerage account. I mean that. You know what I mean? I see so many people actually gambling, and then their excuse is, well, if I were to invest in the stock market, I'd be gambling too. No, you wouldn't. Just because the price of a stock goes up and down doesn't mean you lose anything. Values get adjusted. The problem is everybody looks at the stock market through a gambler's lens when they could be looking at it through a totally different lens. Honestly, you can invest in stocks the same way that real estate tycoons invest in real estate. You buy it, you hold it, you don't even have to do anything with it, you just hold it. As a shareholder, you have the ultimate advantage. First off, you are technically a company owner. You know, you're a minority stakeholder, but you're still an owner in the company. So you do have some say-so, some matter to it all, right? So it matters. Carl says I look like Morgan Freeman. That's funny. But does that make sense? If it doesn't, that's okay. Cause all I know is maybe I don't have the strength to tell you so. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We'll go into a little more investing principles and stuff like that. We will. Our goal really is to cover as many different topics as we can. It's the best part of doing this show is I get to talk to people who really want to learn the concepts of investing. And that's the thing. I want to teach these concepts to everybody who is legitimately interested. I think I just got an inkling for teaching. I don't know if I really feel like debating anybody, but I mean, if you guys have any super chats that you want to give, if you want to interrupt the instructional at any point, a super chat allows you to interrupt and really be a part of the show. So the more super chats we have, the better. It does help the show grow, and we actually greatly appreciate it. Cause all I know is maybe I don't have to tell you so. So as far as it goes, I never recommend any specific stocks. I typically tell people if you're starting out, And just not financial advice by any means. For entertainment and educational purposes only, always talk to a financial advisor. But my thing is, I try to tell people, like, look, broad market funds are pretty much the way to go. If you can, the earlier you diversify, the better protected you are. So getting into broad market exchange traded funds, which is known as an ETF, it's simple and it's doable. So what you could do, I want to talk about accounts, tax advantaged versus taxable, ETFs versus stocks. I want to try to cover all these if possible. I may not be able to. Order types, a $1,000 starter map, you name it, 5 pitfalls. We could even try to do a rapid Q&A, a super chat Q&A. We'll see what the time holds, essentially. So we could do the core concepts. So stocks equals ownership. ETFs equals baskets, which means instant diversification. So when you own an individual stock, you are technically an owner in that stock. When you own an ETF, the ETF itself, the fund itself, owns a basket of companies, right, that are publicly traded. However, by all technicality, when you own the ETF, you technically don't, as far as last time I checked, you don't have any real shareholder rights because the fund holds the stocks. You don't. So as much as I love ETFs, I still enjoy owning individual companies that I know are good companies. Like, for example, I own Coca-Cola. I own Realty Income. I own a ton of individual REITs. I own like about a share of every single REIT I can find, as long as the REIT is manageable and isn't totally crap. No one believes me. Carl, what are you talking about, brother? Everybody believes me. So overall, my thing is, like I said, I'm all about keeping it simple. I buy and hold and I never sell. I make an exception, though, for 20% of my portfolio. 15 to 20%, give or take. So about 15 to 20% of my portfolio is one ETF at this point. I kind of condensed it down. And that ETF is something where I bet against Bitcoin, right? But I own Bitcoin. I do have a position in Bitcoin. And I got in early, but I never sold. But I love betting against Bitcoin, man. And I appreciate it big time, G-Dog. I noticed when I had noise cancellation on this, my problem was it wasn't actually letting people hear how much of my voice is there. Because I have a very unique sounding voice, and I think that the noise cancellation cancels out some tone of my voice. So I actually got rid of the noise filtration, and now people can actually hear how I really sound, and I sound like Chris Hansen in Dateline NBC. But thank you, Akram. By the way, Super Chats keep this show going, and it also gives you the ability to get clout, so I will be more than happy to highlight your Super Chat, talk about it in depth, and if you we're talking about investing, Jason, that's the topic tonight. If you're a beginner investor or need a refresher, this is actually a fun little live. It almost feels like a live webinar, but in the form of a vertical live. Now, I'm still going to interact with you, the audience, but I'm pretty much going to be interacting with super chats. So if you put down a super chat, I will highly interact with it. It'll be a big part of the show. And it could be honestly about anything. It doesn't have to be about investing. Although I prefer it was. But honestly, if you do a super chat, man, I'm a simp for you. Daddy's a simp. See, 'cause all I know is Maybe I don't have strength to tell you so. So what do you guys think? Is there any particular ETF that you guys like to invest in? Is there any particular individual stock you like to invest in? I know me personally, not financial advice, I love Realty Income. I love Coca-Cola, Altria Group, Eli Lilly. I do like the pharmaceutical companies. PepsiCo is a good one. I do like to try to get a lot of the consumer staples like Johnson & Johnson. Shout out Diddy, baby oil, boom. The Didster, dude. The Didster. So if you guys have any pertinent questions and you want me to answer them, Super Chat is the best way to do it. This is kind of a webinar, but if you have a Super Chat interjection that you want to put in there, I'm very open to it. Thank you all for viewing, though. I really appreciate it big time, man. So I want to go over the rest of this, though. Okay, like I said, stocks equal ownership, ETFs equal baskets, instant diversification. So ETFs are a great way to get diversified early without having to pay an arm and a leg. I still think it's good to own individual stocks if your whole goal is to buy and hold them, but they better be good ones. But ETFs are best, in my opinion, just because it allows you to get the diversification quickly, especially if you're on a limited budget. And it allows you to really grow a portfolio. So my entire portfolio is a mixture of ETFs and, like I said, individual stocks. So DCA equals same dollars, set schedule, time in the market is greater than timing the market. And when I say DCA, I mean dollar cost averaging. It's basically just, you're setting a scheduled time to invest, maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly. You know what I mean? You're not trying to time the market. You're just trying to put money into your brokerage periodically. And that can be a huge, huge advantage. Jason Patrick Jones. Got ya. It's a good one. Here's the thing, man. I'm afraid of volatile products unless it allows me to bet against something stupid. I'll give you an example. Bitcoin is stupid. Let's just face it. We all know Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme, right? I am able to bet against Bitcoin, full transparency. I own the SBIT. It's called the SBIT. I own the SBIT, and it allows me to bet against Bitcoin because we all know that Bitcoin is Clickcoin. We all know that Bitcoin is a huge, huge Ponzi scheme, and we don't want to have any part of it. So I think for me personally, I'm always going to be fairly anti-Bitcoin. I think we all know that. But how do you stray away from Bitcoin by Clickcoin? Here we go. Let's keep going. So order types you'll usually see are like market orders, which are pretty fast, versus limit orders where you set the price. So I tend to like to do limit orders, especially in the after hours markets. And the reason I do that is mainly because I want to try to get the best price possible, even if I have to wait a bit. I'm a big fan of limit orders. I like them. Primarily in the after hours market, actually. But overall, when the market's going, I just kind of pay whatever the market price is. And I just call it good at that point. Market prices do fluctuate, man. Especially in the Bitcoin markets. Bitcoin markets are just too extreme, man. And we all know that people want to sell. And we all know that those markets are manipulated through wash trading. Not necessarily, man. You can set your price in the after hours and still get a good deal. You just got to wait it out a bit. That's the thing, man. There's accounts and brokers, just enough to act. So here's the thing. The priority would be an employer match, IRA, Roth, traditional, taxable. A broker checklist, fractional shares, auto invest, low fees, easy app, drip. I personally don't do drip. I don't do automated dividend reinvestment plans, and the reason for that is I don't like to take the dividends that I get from one particular stock or ETF and put them in the same ones. I actually like to take the dividends, hold on to them for a bit, and then think, well, where do I want to put these dividends at? Is there another ETF I want to get exposure to? Maybe I want to put them into some covered call ETFs. Maybe the market's crashed. Maybe I want to buy an S&P 500 ETF. I don't just reinvest the dividends automatically. I like to be the one to choose where they're going to next. And it's fun to make the choice. It keeps you involved in your portfolio. It doesn't even take that long. Normally, I just put it into some broad market ETF, maybe like the VT or something like that, which is the Vanguard Total World Index. Or maybe I'll be like, maybe I want some more international exposure, or I'll put those dividends into some international ETFs, one or the other. I will say this, though. It's pretty easy to buy U.S. stocks if you're in the U.S., It's not so easy to get exposed to international companies without ETFs. So if you really want to get exposure to a broad basket full of international companies, your best bet is honestly an international ETF, an ETF that holds nothing but international companies. It's the best way to do it, in my opinion. The VXUS is one of my favorite ones as far as international ones is concerned. It's super broad. It's super diversified. It's not concentrated in any one sector. It's just basically you're exposing yourself to as many different companies as you can that are on the international basis. So I love international stock index ETFs. They are my favorite. They get me going. So I just want to say that. But any super chat questions, any super chats. If you have any super chat questions, please throw them out there. By the way, not a financial advisor. I just love answering questions. So now, this is kind of a beginner portfolio map. So it's usually best to have like a one fund start, like a broad market ETF plus drip plus $25 to $50 a week going into it, that sort of thing. So I think that's pretty smart. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry to hear the super chat's not working, man. I don't know how that's possible. We'll take a look and see if there's any issues with the super chat functionality here. And by the way, we also accept super gifts and stuff like that. So your super chats will allow me to buy eyebrows. Exactly. This is how I'm going to get eyebrows. I'm sorry, you guys, I don't have the eyebrows that you desire, all right? I know that there's certain types of men out there that this chat really wants to see, but... So like I said, there's the one fund start, which is a broad market ETF plus drip, and then $25 to $50 a week. I still think that you should just buy one. My personal opinion is you should buy one share, and this is not financial advice, but one share of every single exchange traded fund that's index based that looks good to you. Whether it's dividend based, international, like dividend US based, international dividend based. You name it, man. I've got a plethora of different ETFs. I've got covered call ETFs, bond ETFs, stock ETFs. There are so many to choose from. And honestly, I kind of just own them all. I'm not saying it's the right way to invest. It's the way that I invest, though. I love being spread out. I love being diversified. I love spreading my... I was going to say spreading my legs. I'm sorry about that, but I like spreading... my cheeks? I try not to spread my cheeks too much. But as an investor, that's what we do. And then there's the 3-fund idea, US stock. So this is an interesting one. I still think you should just have every fund under the sun that's good, that's reputable. 3-fund idea, which is US stocks, international, and then bond. You kind of bonds, like you rebalance it annually. I don't think you should rebalance. I think rebalancing is the stupidest thing in the world. I just say be spread out. Just be spread out. There's no real reason to care if one asset class is outpacing another in your portfolio. If one is outpacing the other, then that's just the way the cookie crumbles. You know? But it is fun to like add on to like bonds and stuff like that. I still don't like bonds because they're not inflation proof. There's also emotional guardrails, like small fun money, you know, that sort of thing. But let's see, small fund money, less than 5 to 10% for learning. You know, that's a good. You know, you don't have to go all in. That's the one thing I want to say about investing. You don't have to go all in. That's just such a myth. And when you put money into anything, just assume that you're never going to see that money again. I'm not saying you're going to lose anything on the investments that you have. What I'm trying to say is, you gotta feel comfortable buying and holding. I look at all of my stocks, all the stocks I own, all the ETFs, everything. I look at those almost like they're pieces of property. They're pieces of ownership, right? I consider ownership very important. I own a bunch of REITs, which in turn, those companies own a bunch of real estate that they lease out. I don't have to deal with it. I get the benefit of being an owner, and I get rewarded as such. And that's the whole idea of being an owner in a company, is to get the rewards. The rewards are a big deal. Now, why is everybody hating in the chat? I'm getting a lot of hate. All right, you guys, why are you hating? Anyway, the assets that I own matter, and the assets that I primarily own are stocks, bonds, and commodity ETFs. Those are beautiful. And I also own a lot of the ETFs that I own are international stock ETFs because it's the only way for me to gain access, real exposure to a broad amount of international companies without having to really risk anything, you know. International could be a bit of a risk, but at the same time, I think just being isolated to U.S. stocks only is a bit of a risk. I like to be geographically diversified. That is my key. That's how I roll, man. You guys, make sure you guys like the stream and subscribe to the channel. We need more simps. We need more likes, and we need more simps. If you ain't gonna be a pimp, at least you could be a simp, right? Am I a pimp? No. Now, I guess... Now, here's how you would place your first order. This is kind of like a talk through on it. I'm not going to do a full tutorial, but let's say you get your brokerage account or your Roth IRA account, whatever you got, right? You want to find a ticker. For example, if you want your first stock to own to be an ETF, I think VOO is pretty good. That's not an endorsement, by the way. It's the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. It's very sexy, very nice. And then there's a SPY. It's SPY. It's another S&P 500 one. They're pretty much the same type of fund. They're just done by different entities. So I would definitely... I'm a huge fan of the S&P 500, but it's not the only... It's not the only index that I expose myself to, because I expose myself to pretty much the entire stock market in the U.S., and I expose myself to as many different international markets, especially the emerging markets. Those are my favorites. So I do have a lot of emerging market ETFs because they are known for their high growth, and it matters. But yeah, so you find your ticker symbol, choose the amount that you want to invest in. You could do fractional shares if you want. I'm not a big fan of fractionals. I just buy the share. I just buy it by the share. Market order on liquid ETFs, and then you turn on drip. That's another thing. You can if you want to. I think dividend reinvestment plans that are automated are kind of stupid, but that's up to you. If you want to be hands off with your portfolio, then drip is perfect. But if you're like me and you want to take those dividends and actually put them into some other ETF or some other individual stocks, that's another good call. That's one of the reasons I love dividends. So it's one of the most underrated aspects about dividends. People are like, well, I don't want dividends. I want the stocks that I have to do buybacks. Okay. That's fair to some degree. But stock buybacks is like basically like they're just taking the shares out of circulation and increasing the value because of that. Okay. Granted, it's not the worst thing in the world. But the problem here is I want to see some sort of realized something coming from my investment. That's why I love dividends so much. I think dividends are very important because a lot of the time when I get dividends from the investments that I have, I'm not putting those dividends back into the same company. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm putting them in other companies that I find. Maybe I don't have a certain company in my portfolio. I'd like to add it. Or maybe I have an ETF that I've been eyeballing for a while. And I'm like, why don't I have this in my portfolio? Or I never heard of this ETF. Why don't I have this in my portfolio? So the whole goal. And I'm not and also scheduling auto buys is kind of cool. Or just scheduling like money to come out from your checking account to your brokerage account or IRA account, whatever you got. The point is just being in the market. You don't have to be a trader. You don't have to trade stocks. You just need, honestly, buying and holding is more than enough. Now, I will admit, swing trading is very fun. That's why 15 to 20% of my portfolio is swing traded. I absolutely love swing trading. Which one is it? Oh God, I'm trying to remember what it is. Sometimes I draw a blank, you guys. I want to apologize. Can you guys remember for me? Yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now. Sorry about that, you guys. Let's see. You know, a few pitfalls that I could say, like chasing hot tips, over trading. These are some things you got to watch out for. Okay, watch out for this. Like I said, chasing hot tips. When I first invested, I did that, and I wasn't thinking to myself. I wasn't thinking about it. I thought, oh, maybe this is a person doing it in good nature. A lot of these guys are grifters when they tell you to buy an individual stock. So keep in mind that not all tips are good tips. Avoid hot tips like, oh, the next penny stock, or buy this stock or you're going to be poor, that sort of thing. Look out for MLM language. That's why I think Bitcoin's a joke, because all the time you hear people like, you better get in now or you're going to be poor. And it's like, dude, stop with that language. Stop with it, man. That sort of language is just so disgusting. Also, ignoring fees and taxes. You got to keep an eye out. You got to know that there are fees and taxes to keep in mind in the world of investing. Also, another thing is all-in bets. Hell no. Do not go all in on one thing. It's probably the dumbest thing I see all the time. Because what if you're wrong? The one thing that people never consider is what if they're wrong. Now, I know there's always success stories that happen where somebody went all in on something and then they won big. But guess what? They're one in like a million. Nobody ever talks about the lack of success stories, the failure stories, right? Everybody talks about the successes. So there is a selective bias that happens in the world of investing that people don't consider. So keep that in mind. So all-in bets are bad. All-in bets are bad. Keep that in mind, everybody. Waiting for the perfect dip. That's another thing. You don't want to wait for the market to dip. You just got to... I think dollar cost averaging is perfect, and that's pretty much what I do. So at this point, my portfolio is funded by my swing trades and my dividends, right? A lot of the times I just take the dividends and I just look for another investment. I'm here to stack the wood. I'm here to buy and hold as much as possible. All right? That's the key. By the way, if anybody's got if anybody wants to contribute to the show's success, to keep the lights on, super chats, baby. Super chats. Don't forget to be, if you want to be a simp, sometimes, sorry, if you want to be a pimp, sometimes you got to be a simp. I think that might be the worst advice I've ever given. It's not real advice. It's not financial advice. It's not advice at all. In fact, everything I just said there is that previous statement, it's all bullshit, all right? All bullshit. But I want to thank everybody who is simp-scribing to the channel. More simps we have, the better. I love the simps, dude. The simps make me turn into a pimp. Oh no, I dropped my pen. Shit. Come on. So I keep getting messages that say, "Hi, Morgan Freeman." Hello. I'm Morgan. I can't do a Morgan Freeman voice, man. That guy's got a very sexy voice. I like the way Morgan Freeman sounds. So overall, what we're really talking about is we're trying not to talk about my bussy. We're talking about investing primarily. And let's see. My mussy is the bussy, and I don't know why. I don't know why I'm that kind of guy. You know, I've been told that I got Morgan Freeman vibes. I get it. I get it. I agree with it. Without a doubt. Don't forget super chats, though, you guys. The more super chats we get, the better. Also, your questions, you get to skip the line, right? Super chat equals skip the line. Your message is highlighted in red first. All right, so we got a poll going. So which of these is the best asset class? It's going to be an interesting poll. We got zero votes, but I'm curious to see if people vote in the poll. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Well, we got 38 minutes. You got 38 minutes to help get the super chat goal. We got goals. All right, Q&A lightning round. So does anybody have any questions? Any questions about stocks, bonds, ETFs, crypto? I mean, if you talk about crypto, I'm going to tell you you're a grifter. But, you know. But if you guys have any pressing questions, make sure you put them in the form of a super chat. This is the super chat hour. For the next 37 minutes, we'll only be answering your super chats. So the more we have, the better. We're really trying to, and honestly, it's as little as $2. So I'll be more than happy to highlight it and read what you got. So we'll take a look at the poll real quick. So which of these is the best asset class? 1 vote so far. And that 1 vote is for real estate. Make sure you guys vote in the poll, by the way, at the very least. And then if you have any super chats you want to discuss, please send a super chat this way, because that way we could discuss them openly. So the more super chats we have, the better. While we're waiting, I'm going to make a little bit of something to eat, because I'm a little bit of a hungry boy right now. And then from there, I don't know. I got to see what time the, let's see. Time is... Yeah, I think I'm going to make myself just a simple meal. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to eat while we're waiting for super chats here. We need super chats. Well, no. Mm. Hell no, I ain't. What you talking about, fool? All right. Here we go. Now, 1, nothing wrong with me. 2, nothing wrong with me. 3, nothing wrong with me. 4. But I do want to thank everybody in here so far. We're going to talk a little more investing. We're going to get that going. So here's the thing, man. So here's like a 30-second action plan that you can take yourself and be able to do what you got to do, right? To be able to really help yourself out on this, okay? You want to open an account. Pick, when I say an account, like a brokerage account, IRA, you name it. Like 401k, that sort of thing. And then you want to pick one broad market, like ETF, like one broad ETF. It doesn't have to be specific. I mean, as long as it's got a large amount of companies within this particular fund, right? So example of a good broad market ETF could be like the VOO, which is the Vanguard S&P 500. There's a few ETFs that have like the Russell 2000, for example, that sort of thing. But yeah, you want to set $25 to $50 a week, auto invest. Most would recommend turning on drip. I don't, but honestly, talk to a financial advisor, see if turning drip on is right for. I think it's good to have a dividend investment plan. Here's the thing. I believe in dip, not drip. Dip, not drip. I have a dividend investment plan where I take the dividends and just invest them in other crap. But I don't believe reinvesting the dividends into the same frickin' thing is a smart idea. I've just never felt that. But at the same time, you know, you can calendar like a 6 months review on it. Other than that, like I said, open an account. Pick one broad market ETF. Set $25, $50 a week. You can also have more than one ETF, obviously. There's no limit to how much you can really diversify. I don't believe there's really an end to how much you could diversify. The goal is diversification's sexy. And considering you don't have to pay an arm and a leg to get diversified, that matters. That's a good thing. But yeah, I believe in having a dividend investment plan, just not a dividend reinvestment plan, right? I believe that you should take the time with your dividends to, you know, invest in the right ETF or individual stocks. Shinobi, I'm not buying your grifting NFTs. By the way, NFTs are the greatest grift of all time. Watch out for that, dude. So we got 7 votes in the poll. Very sexy, by the way. Which of these is the best asset class? 43% of you said stocks. 38% of you said real estate. 12% said gold and silver. And I'm not going to lie, class. I am extremely proud of you. 0% of you said crypto. Thank God there is some hope in the world. There is hope in the world. Thank you, Malak. I appreciate the follow. I appreciate the vine. Thank you very much for being a subscriber to the show. Really appreciate it. If you guys want to help me get eyebrows, by the way, super chats are essentially a fund to help me get eyebrows. Hopefully. Shinobi Swag says I'm going to buy a gold chain because I'm a pimp, not a simp. Oh, geez. Yeah, so super chats could, depending on how I use your super chats, by the way, could allow me to get more eyebrows. Truth Nation is a loser. You're a loser. Truth Nation, you're speaking lies, brother. You ain't a real brony brother. You ain't a real brony brother, all right? So overall, the goal, look, at the end of the day, the main thing you got to remember is income is the outcome. I stole that from Tony Robbins because in his book, Money Master the Game, probably one of the best books on finance I've ever read in my life. One of the main objectives, he said, is income is the outcome. So getting income from your portfolio and not having to sell your portfolio is the ideal circumstance. So that's one of the reasons why I love having dividend stocks, because dividend stocks are typically good companies, or even a covered call ETF is good. I think you should have a variety of ETFs, if anything. And that's my dealio. That's what I believe. Hey, look, man. I'm a simp. I ain't like you, Truth Nation Uncensored. You's a pimp, and I'm a simp, all right? I can't help my simpish nature. I got a simp for the super chats, all right? I'm a simp, I'm a pimp. But either way, let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Now make sure if you guys have a very important question to super chat it. So one thing I would say is watch out for like the Meet Kevins of the world, who will constantly tell you that, hey, you know, they got this hot new stock that they want you to buy. You gotta avoid that, man. Gotta avoid that. So like Meat Spin Kevin, my boy Meat Spin Kevin, he honestly is the biggest grifter in the world of finance. If you guys thought I was bad, the dude sells $10,000 courses. I mean, doesn't get any griftier than that. Doesn't get any. Now I'm grifty. I got a little grifter blood in me. I ain't gonna lie. I love asking for super chats. It's fun. I'm a simp. I'm a simp for the super chats, bro. If you's a simp, then you's a pimp. Did you want to be a simp like me, Oh. Yeah. Everybody wants to be a simp like me. Everybody wants to be a pimp simp. Oh, 12 votes. Okay, we got 12 votes in the poll. Which of these is the best asset class? So we got 42% of you say stocks, 25% say real estate. Okay. And then 25% of you say gold, silver. Another one, sadly, 8% of you say crypto. Yuck. Just remember, people, crypto is grifto. Crypto is phony baloney dildo money. It's trash. I know that I am your favorite. I know I am your guys' favorite guy on YouTube. I get it. I know that Truth Nation Uncensored appears to be my biggest fan. Thank you, Truth Nation Uncensored, for being my biggest fan. I really do appreciate it, brother. And Truth Nation, man, is keeping this show alive. It's keeping this show alive, dude. So, what do you all have to say for yourselves? So we're in the Super Chat Power Hour right now. In fact, we got 12 minutes to get it to bare minimum of one Super Chat. All right? We gotta try. How am I begging? I'm not on my knees begging, please, all right? Tell me how I'm begging. I'm not begging, I'm demanding, man. I'm demanding for super chats, all right? I make demands for super chats. I don't beg. Simps beg. I'm a pimp, all right? I tell people if I want super chats, no, just kidding. I'm not that good. I'm not that good. A lot of haters in the chat, though, man. They're hating. They're not liking what I'm putting down. Oh, yeah. Do you think I should Sharpie my eyebrows in? Truth Nation, why are you surprised I'm even monetized, dude? I have like 5,333 subscribers. I've got plenty of videos. I've done a lot of short videos. That's what really got me all the subscribers. I don't know. I think I've done an all right job. Why you hating, G-Dog? Yeah, I mean, sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of dead air that happens on this show from time to time. I try not to have too much dead air. But things happen, man. You're very sexy. If I could, then I would go wherever you will go. Make sure you guys like the stream and subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers we have, the better. Make sure more subscribers, the better, though. It does help the channel grow quite a bit, and we do appreciate it here. So, Truth Nation, I'm curious. You seem very fascinated by my live stream. Why do you come on here, man? And I welcome everybody. I'm just curious if you can't stand my begging so much, if you can't stand whatever the heck it is I'm doing. Look, I'm trying to take a bit of an AM radio format and I'm trying to stick it into the world of vertical lives. Now, I do give substance. I just gave a whole thing, a whole kind of webinar style about motherfucking investing for beginners. I love teaching. It's just in my blood. I'm a huge fan. I can't help it. Now, me personally, I still think you should have multiple ETFs in your portfolio. Man, look, I've been able to grow my channel, and I do look for the material I need. Truth Nation Uncensored. Here's the thing. Did it ever occur to you that the reason I grew as big as I did is because I have a lot of hateable takes, right? I got a face that only a mother could love, and yeah. But look where I'm at. I'm getting pretty close. I'm getting to the point where I could get up to 10,000 subs. Subway sandwiches, that is. Now, I'm talking about like an AM style talk show. Like, maybe like Rush Limbaugh or something, or... See what I'm saying? Are you feeling what I'm putting down? But yeah, investing is very simple. I think, as long as you stay diversified very early, buy and hold, never sell your positions, get the dividends going. I think you'll have an easy time. It's as simple as that, man. No, I like to do a variety of shows. We got 4 minutes and 17 seconds. I need a super chat. I should just set I should set a 5-minute timer every time. I don't know if it'll let you set a 5-minute or 10-minute timer. I should just start doing 10-minute ones. Now, here's the thing, man. We're talking about investing. I mean, honestly, it's as simple as this. Buy one share of as many different ETFs that you like as possible and that you know are good index ETFs with low expense ratio costs. Second, look for alternative type of ETFs that are out there in the market. Think about this. Covered call ETFs are a great example. They provide nice little income, although they're capped on the upside. Can't really get too much growth on a covered call ETF, sadly. So, how do you guys know a lick of anything about investing? Truth Nation Uncensored. If you think what I'm saying is bullshit, can you at least give me some sort of inkling as to how you invest? Yeah. The difference between you and me, Dustin, is I don't give up. Dustin and I both have Asperger's syndrome. That's fine. But we don't give up. I don't give up. Dustin does. See, me not giving up is not me being stubborn. It's me being determined in not letting people like Truth Nation Uncensored and Dustin put me down. So you judge it by refrigerator. Dude, the fact that you need to have a nice refrigerator is, I mean, I have a good refrigerator. It's a little small, but it does the trick because I'm a minimalist. I just pretty much keep to the essentials. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, I'm an investor, and I like to let people know how to invest. Even though I'm not a financial advisor, I do this for entertainment and educational purposes only. Man, but there's a lot of haters. We got 1 minute to get a super chat, by the way. As you all know, I am a simp for super chats. Look, investing is not hard at the end of the day. The great thing about my portfolio is it does pay for a lot of stuff. I'll admit that. Pays for most of my car payment, things like that. At the end of the day, my portfolio is very sexy. I think everybody's aware of how great make my portfolio great again. That's the thing. Make it sexy. Come on. I know people love this. So, what type of car do you think I drive? Man, dude, I'm actually just shocked. Like, we got a lot of people, man. I got a Toyota, bro. I got a Toyota Corolla. Boom. I got a Toyota Corolla for my a-hola. I think everybody in the chat is secretly is a closeted man. I drive a Toyota Corolla, dude. It keeps my mussy fresh. It keeps me feeling very sexy. It is a pimp mobile. I'm not saying anybody's gay. I'm just saying that you're all closeted. That's all. And it's okay. Sometimes you guys got to be closeted. I get it. I'm not even shaming that. I'm proud of you guys for being you. What do you drive, Truth Nation Uncensored? What are you driving? Dude, it's one of the reasons I'm rich is I don't spend all my money on cars and stupid bling. That's the difference between you and I. I don't need the nicest things to feel good about myself. I don't need to show off. What I need is a good portfolio, and I have that. Portfolio that pays me, and it helps. You have an S6? I don't even know what brand is it. A Ford S6? What's an S6? Yeah, let me tell you. I can't just take this off the deck. Okay, Brad. You know what? I'm not gonna be bullied. I ain't gonna be bullied by you, Brad. Screw off, dude. Brad's a cuck. Yeah, I feel like I'm just, it's one man, dude. All right, fine. I drive a Bugatti. Yeah. Do you guys want to see my Bugatti? Bugatti. Yeah. I don't know why I drive a Bugatti. I don't know why I drive my Bugatti. Oh yeah. Do you guys got? I try to pretend like I got a Bugatti. I know who my audience is. I know exactly who my audience is. It's you guys, because you guys love rage bait. The simple matter is, I know that people love to hate, so I'm an easy person to hate, so I weigh into that. If I... Did you know I'm gonna keep singing out loud? And I know I'm a chode. I can't help my chody behavior. Oh, if I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. Show me the garden that's bursting into life. And all that I am, and all that I ever was, is here in your perfect eyes. They're all I can see. And I don't know where. It's like we just can't help ourselves, because we don't know how to back down. We were called out to the streets. Cypher Solutions. Cypher Solutions is a crypto man, but I love this dude. This dude's the man. Cause you had a bad day, take one down. That song just to turn it around. Hello, it's me. With arms wide open, under the sunlight. Welcome to this place. I'll show you everything. With arms wide open. Wide open. And I'll show you everything. No, yeah. With arms wide open. Wide open. And I'll show you everything. No, yeah. With arms wide open. Yeah, crypto does suck. Good job, Cypher. I appreciate you, bro. I know, Cypher, you think that Bitcoin's different from crypto, but really, in all reality, it's all the same Ponzi scheme in my book. But I appreciate you, Cypher Solutions. You the man, dude. You're the man now, dog. Hell yeah. You the GOAT, dude. You are the GOAT. Get it. I can't help but being so sexy. I'm gonna shake my ass on the dance floor. Gonna shake my ass on the dance floor. Gonna shake my ass and I don't know. Gonna shake my ass on the dance floor. Gonna shake my ass on the dance floor all day, all night long. I'm in a juicy man thong. And juicy man thong. Everybody wants to know why I'm in a juicy man thong, a juicy, juicy man thong. Everybody wants to know why. I'm in a juicy man thong. I'm in a juicy man thong. I'm in a juicy, juicy man thong. All I know is I'm getting my dong on. My dong is looking so good. Juicy man thong. Juicy man thong. Everybody wants to wear a juicy man thong all day, all night, every night. I don't even know why I do this shit. Oh. Everybody wants a juicy man thong all day, all night. All day, all night. You're making my bussy tight. Bussy is so tight. I don't know why my bussy makes me wanna mussy. My mussy is the bussy, and I don't know why. Don't know why. I'm that kind of guy. Don't know why. I'm that kind of guy. Everybody's jealous of my mussy. Everybody's jealous now. I know that my boy is jealous right now. Everybody wants to see my bussy, bussy, bussy boys. I'm a bussy boy. I'm a bussy man. Bussy, bussy boy. I'm not a likable guy, dude. Not a likable guy. Hell yeah. Thank you, Madam Mio. I appreciate it, G-Dog. Thank you. I appreciate the donations. Yeah, we're definitely trying. Really trying to grow the brand. I know the brand here is diarrhea, essentially. But this is the greatest YouTube vertical live talk show of all time. I think everybody can attest to that. We do the best we can. I just want to show the, like, everybody's so mad and jealous about my mussy. And the mussy and the bussy are two different things. Truth Nation, I checked my Venmo account, all right? And I see 50 in there, all right? And it looks, was it? Everybody likes to donate to this channel. Look, you guys got to stop with the rimmers, all right? We're done with the rims. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, so to all the haters out there, I want to say thank you for all the super chats I got today. Thank you for... Thank you for... Look, I appreciate everybody here. You guys have all been very supportive. So I think everybody in the chat, look, you guys gotta stop fapping so much, man. Look, I know this is the greatest show on turf. This is the greatest show, the greatest program in all of YouTube Live vertical streams. I get that you're jealous. I know that my channel is better than Truth Nation Uncensored. I get it. Truth Nation Uncensored just wants to be me. He wants to be, I don't know if he wants to be me or eat me. I can't tell. But I will say this though. Truth Nation Uncensored. I looked at your channel. 3,380 subscribers. Why do you have less subscribers than me? And why do I have more subscribers than you? Can you tell me that? Can you tell me? I mean, it's like comparing. I don't know, but like Truth Nation Uncensored, why you're trying to get clout from my audience? If anything, you're trying to get clout from my audience. That's why you keep chatting. Is that right? It's got to be right. This is interesting, though, man. This is an interesting thing that's going on. Let's see. We could also look at some of the foundations of a good portfolio, though. I do want to actually look into that real quick. Dude, there's 16 people showing up on here. I know that, look, I know that you want to be a hoe. I get it. Everybody's saying this is delusional. Why is this delusional? I am the greatest investor of all time. This is the greatest show on turf. This is the greatest show on YouTube. Straight up. And to all you who can't handle it, I'm biting back. Truth Nation, you don't have half the audience I got, all right? I have... You've checked. You've checked mine. All right, Truth Nation, you have nothing to say here. You have everything you want to say, but at the end of the day, you have nothing of substance. I'm talking about investing, and you're out there being a total snob. Truth Nation, you're the loser here. I'm the winner. Okay? So if you're going to be a hater, if you're going to be a keyboard warrior, I'm going to keep making money off of you. Yeah, I don't know why people gave you $100 subscribe. First off, I will say this. Every time I talk about a controversial topic, there was one stream where I made $120 total, right? Look, you may have been doing the vertical lives longer than me, but I'm catching up, all right? And I go at a slower pace, I'll admit it. But I am relentless and I am persistent. Now, should I probably stop begging for super chats so much? Probably be a good idea. But at the same time, it's good to talk about them. It's good to get them in there. Yeah, look at. I've got simps. You got simps. We are pimps. All right. So you're saying, do you want to become a member? Truth Nation, you need to become a member. That's actually not a bad idea. I could do that. Hold on. Let me subscribe and become... Actually, I could rack up memberships. Not a bad call. Let's see. Become a member. Interesting. We're on to something. Let's see. Okay, I will admit that's actually some good advice from Truth Nation. Shockingly, so subscribe and become a member. I think would be a good approach. And then, if possible, drop a super chat. But we should try to encourage memberships. That would be one way to do it. And all my memberships, by the way, it's super affordable. Like my first tier membership's 99 cents per month, and the other one's $1.99. I wish I was just trying to make it just $1 per month. They didn't really have any yearly plans, though. That's the unfortunate part. Truth Nation just wants me to do things. You. Yeah, I'm growing. I'm growing. Now, how's that? See, I mean, I'm improving with every stream. I'm understanding the game. So it's not like I'm not figuring shit out as I go. I'm making adjustments accordingly. Let's see. Truth Nation, man. You're the one who's acting immature. I'm the one who's kicking butt, all right? At the end of the day, my show is growing. I know I'm talented. I'm not even saying that just to be a dick. I know I'm talented. All right? People need to back off. All right. Having said that, though, I do appreciate anything you guys can provide. Subscribe and join as a member. Tap the $ for a super chat. Skip the line. I'll highlight and read yours first. Hell yeah. But I will tell you this, Truth Nation Uncensored. I will check out some of your lives, some of your live streams, and I'll see what you're talking about on there. I do appreciate the insight, though. But you could say I'm lost, but I think I've been found. I may have been lost, but now I'm found. Having fun, you guys. Having fun. But yeah, memberships are a good thing. I'll have to try to look into that a little bit more. Thank you, Cypher Solutions. I appreciate it. Look, I still want to evolve, and I do want to change, but I want to still be... I want to grow. Growth is important. All right, so I'm going to keep growing, keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep being funny, because I am funny. I'm not funny. I'm not that funny. But I'm going to keep doing my thing. And I do believe in my abilities. And, yeah, before I go, does anybody want to drop a super chat, by the way? I eat super chats for breakfast. I do. I eat. I would love to eat. I would pour milk if I could on super chats, and I would eat them. And I would also do. I would eat them on top of Truth Nation Uncensored's YouTube channel. All right, you guys. Anyway, I'm out. I'm going to go to Cruise the Coos. I'm going to go see how my mom's doing, see how my boy Byron's doing, and then I'm going to head back home, and then just relax. But anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. See you on the next episode. Can't win them all. That's the way I look at it. Can't win them all. Outro, Romy. Outro.